The Madueke injury is massive. Let me tell you why. By the way, I know that there's two camps of Arsenal fans. Yeah. There's some of us that think Madueke's been a flop. He hasn't produced enough goals and assists. And there's camp number two that thinks he's come in, provided adequate cover and done a good job for us. For full transparency, I'm completely in camp number two. Why? Want to stand out like the freestyle pros? Then Premier Baller was built for you. 120 elite level skills to learn and master. Professional step-by-step training created by top UK freestyler Jay Rosa. This is an elite online academy for serious ballers. 10% off your first month right now with the code BALLER10. Your game is about to change. Let's look back not that long ago. In previous seasons, when Saka was injured, did we replace him well or did we massively struggle? Now, Reece Nelson moment against Bournemouth aside, we have never been able to replace Saka without there being a massive drop-off in quality and, I know you're going to say it, output. Now, a lot of you will be saying, well, hold on, Neil. Madueke is a big drop-off. But is he really? Is he really? Let's break it down. Why am I in camp number two? Well, I've just told you we couldn't replace Saka. So do I think we're replacing Saka now? Well, not like for like, no. But what does Madueke bring? Madueke brings cover, not just on the right, but also on the left. And he also brings directness. Why is that important? He drives into the box. Now, I know he can be frustrating because sometimes his head's down and a lot of fans will say, he's super frustrating, or they find Madueke one of the most frustrating players. You name me a big group of players that isn't frustrated, that aren't frustrating from time to time. You can't. You're going to have levels of frustration. I get that. But his directness adds a lot to our game. No one else does what he does. And because he drives into the box more than anyone else right now, and you could admit it, Arsenal fans, or you cannot, it's totally up to you, we lack directness. He represents our best chance of winning penalties. Fact. Now, you GA merchants out there are going to level at me that Neil, he hasn't produced enough goals and assists this season. And you'd be right to. Right? He's only produced, I think, 5 goals in all competitions and a couple of assists. My counter to that would be that per 90 minutes played, there's no other Arsenal player that wins more corners for us than Noni Madueke. That's another fact. So you can talk about the eye test. You can talk about he's not producing enough in terms of goals and assists. But if he's winning us corners and he's a threat in the penalty box, then he's doing his job for me, because we all know how much of a threat we are from corners. We all know that that is one of our big avenues in putting pressure on teams and scoring goals, right? So if he's doing that, he's doing his job. Now, we're at the business end of the season. This injury is massive because this business end of the season is bigger than any other business end of the season for us in the last 20 plus years, for obvious reasons. We're in the Champions League quarters, we're top of the Premier League, and we're in the FA Cup semi-final. We're fighting on multiple fronts. So we need squad depth. So Madueke going down is now double bad news for us, because it's not just the Premier League title that we're trying to secure. We're trying to get into the Champions League semis. We're trying to get into the Champions League final. We're trying to get into the FA Cup final, right? If we want to win trophies and we want to add that winning DNA back to Arsenal, we need that squad depth, as we all know. And Madueke, whether you like it or not, has a part to play. Now, it's not all doom and gloom for us Arsenal fans. Why do I say that? Because we've got the X factor. Mighty Max Dowman. He's already had a huge moment against Everton. Got us to 3 points where without him we wouldn't have. Massive. But I'm telling you, from now until the end of the season, he's going to play more and more games. He's going to have more game time and he's going to play more minutes, whether you like it or not. Now, a lot of you will be out there saying, well, we can't be going into the business end of the season, Neil, relying on a 16-year-old. I'm not talking about relying, but equally, I think too much is made of him being 16 years old. Fabregas came through the ranks and played for us when he was 15. If you're good enough, you're old enough. So if you're good enough and you're old enough, then age aside, what does Max Dowman bring to us? He brings an X factor. He brings the ability to glide past players that we lack. He brings that no fear factor. He brings directness. He brings calm, control, technique. And maybe he is going to be the key. You know, all those years ago, you had a player who is already not even half the player that Dowman is right now. Federico Macheda for Man United when Fergie was there. And in Fergie time, he scored some massive goals for them, one notably against Aston Villa, right? All these things play parts. They play a big part in winning a title. So if Madueke has gone down, I think it represents a huge problem because we're fighting on all three fronts. But Max Dowman could be the key for us. Guys, let me know in the comments below whether you agree with me, maybe whether you think I'm mad. Maybe you do think I'm mad. Maybe you think I'm making too much for this Noni Madueke injury. Maybe you don't think it's that big a deal. I mean, look, he walked off in a brace, and absolutely we did the smart thing getting Declan and Saka out of there ASAP under medical assessment claims. They're fine. But that was the right thing to do because Arteta understands this injury is massive already. We can't afford any more. Maybe you think I'm mental that Max Dowman is going to play a big part from now until the end of the season. Well, guess what, guys? He is, isn't he? Who else we got? And we're going to need to rotate. And all these players are going to have to play a part because this is when the squad comes together. This business end of the season where we haven't won anything for 22 years or won anything of note for 22 years. This is where we're all going to pull together. This is where that squad building that Arteta's built is going to come to fruition. And maybe the only missing thing is that X factor. And maybe that X factor is Max Dowman. Drop your comments below. I will respond to every single one of them. If you recognise me from our parent channel, the Frenemies Pod, it's now rebranded to Football Juice TV. The link is in the description below. Click on that. Check out that channel. If you like how I'm delivering my current content, I'm trying to blow this channel up as well. So if you can give it a quick like and subscribe while you're at it, I'll super appreciate it. And guys, I will see you in the next one.